All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day 132. So here's the standard intro. Once again, there's no updates on the rent eviction situation. We're almost exactly 1 month off to the next hearing. And as usual, we're going to be continuing work toward the next release of the terminal block mining simulation game. I'm getting, reflecting on the number of days this has taken, it feels like I've been working on this forever, and there's been still no new features, but I hope to get through this last bit of refactoring soon. It's kind of, it's one of those things where it's better to bear the fruits of that early rather than leave it, because it's still when I just run it on my my other desktop, it's still remarkably kind of jittery, and I think just having a nice smooth experience is the best thing to maximize the number of people who have a good first impression of it is important. Having said that, though, it is pretty solid now, and I'm just kind of working through. I made it really complicated to make a push to just get the last few test cases done. And once I start to kind of unravel the rat's nest of state variables and stuff, it should maybe speed up a little bit. And of course, I'm also working on a new long form video, so the scripting is 100% complete. The video recording for it is 100% complete, and the voice recording is now 66% complete. And I'm going to say the editing is now 25% done. So it's making progress. I think I said earlier, maybe optimistic would be this week. I guess probably, if I finish it, it'll probably be into the weekend. Yeah, so a lot of the work I'm going to continue on is with the calculate occlusions function. Is empirically, the profiler says that's where most of the time is getting spent, and some of the information that gets passed into that, I think there's some rearrangement I can do to try and pass in more restrictive bounds, so it's just doing less work. I guess we can continue on that tonight. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? MTE explains, X86 says hello. Are we going to implement calculate occlusions today? Calculate occlusions is already implemented, but it's too slow. That's one of the main issues. That function is in screen layer class. Yeah, this monstrous function here, which I guess I've cleaned it up a little bit, but it's still the, like, all these extra bounds checks and stuff like that are not. If I pass in better bounds, then I don't have to do that. All right, for good measure, let's compile. game still works. Let's make sure the tests still work. So this still takes around 127 seconds or so. So today, I actually just before the stream, everyone asks me about AI, so I figured I might as well indulge in, I could actually try out some AI. I tried using AI for coding, and people have said it's good for refactoring, and I could imagine a scenario where that's true. So some of the stuff I'm doing, like if you actually had like a logic analyzer, like a SAT solver or something, you could probably automate some aspects of refactoring, I think. So I asked it specifically, like I have a heuristic that I follow to try and simplify the code, to try to find like simple things that are like logically equivalent, and rearrange stuff and just try to use less variables, have less branches. So I basically just explained that and told that to the AI, and I have a couple optimization or simplifications that AI came up with that I'll take a look at, review them, see if they work. I do really have to run this a lot because I was testing today and I thought I had a small change that worked. And then it ran for like another 100,000 tests and it failed. The randomized coverage comes up with a lot of kind of useless cases. Okay, that works. So here was what the question I asked in the function merge down. Give me an example of a small simplification that I can do to rearrange variables, create new variables, delete, rearrange if else statements, etc. that I can do that will make the code exactly functionally equivalent but simpler. Don't give a long explanation. Better solve the problem. Just do it yourself and tell me straight away what the code change I should make. So here's the first. This is kind of not formatted well because forget exactly what the syntax is for that. Equals. There we go. So it's saying take that, simplify that to this. Interesting. So it's telling me to change this. So it's like referencing my code. That kind of looks like it, but it didn't. Like the or, it's missing the rest of the or condition here. So right off the bat, I'm pretty sure I'm looking at, yeah, right where greater than or equals 0. That's the only place where that appears. Now there is greater than or equal to 0 there, but it's not referring to that because that doesn't have this. And saying refactor it to this. So if that was an actual real simplification, and there are, I think, if you look at the code, there are a few, like this one here, this is identical, so I could say right word greater than 0 or left word. But for now, it's simple enough to keep them separate. So that's kind of not impressive. Honestly, stuff like this is like when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, this at first glance, I thought, wow, maybe I should be using AI more. But then as soon as I look at the details and I see stuff like this, I'm like, oh, the AI, it can't even, and I know it's just token prediction, but it cannot even reproduce the actual code. So if I'm saying find something in my code to change, and if it's not able to reference a real piece of code, then it's basically all bets are off at that point. And here I said give another example. Okay, so then it said take this. It said take this line of code, these 3 lines, which actually are, see, I didn't make any mistakes. No, it looks like that's actually the code. So it says simplify this, take this 3 lines of code and simplify it to 1, 2, 3, 4, to these 7 lines of code. Which I guess if there were a lot of layers, that would be more efficient. But it also breaks what I said before, which is about, I asked it for functional equivalence, so it's not. I guess if it's doing or equal, then it's functionally equivalent. I think. It also introduces a branch too, a conditional branch, which is probably going to slow down which will slow down the what do you call it, pipeline prediction. Okay, and then I said give another example. So here's the last example. So I won't even try those first 2. And here's the last one. So it says current code is this, So that's up here. So it's saying, so it is writing the actual code. So I've got the reference right. And it's saying basically just move down this statement about the color codes. And I don't think, my prediction is this is going to cause the test to fail. So let's go ahead and, I would agree that's maybe, it's kind of a simplification. So let's try out what the AI told us to do. Right, it compiles. Now let's run the tests. So the tests are running. I guess that does make sense. That could go after the exit condition. Well, actually, I'll have to think about that. We'll see if it passes all of them. Well, I think that's actually going to pass. So I guess that was one so-called simplification that did actually work. My intuition was it would have failed the test. Well, I guess I'll take that. Now, in the interest of simplifying this, I tried last night quick to do a couple other simplifications, but it's the whole like characters that can be on the that can end up on the edge of the layer make everything way more complicated. But I'll go ahead and just start with updating the boundary here. So that's no longer possible. That doesn't exist. Now I think this will break some things. Wonder if I can combine those. All right, I'll focus on this. Wow, is that going to work? That'll be awesome if it does. Nice. Now, if AI could just give me a series of small changes like that, because I'm sure if it actually analyzed and understood the code well enough, you would be able to say you can just take the existing code and delete like these 5 things and it'll work exactly the same. But as it is, I have to, do trial and error. That's why I think AI could actually make some leaps and bounds, because if you asked it to make like a million different simple suggestions, it's like to pick a random line to delete and then delete it and then rerun the unit tests and see if they pass. The AI is like, you would have a lot of false. You'd have a lot of like useless guesses, but all right, that actually passed. That's great. Slightly less complicated. Useless guesses. I find that a lot with AI. Yeah, the I don't know, those examples I just reviewed tonight. Those are still kind of on the edge of me leaning against using AI. Like for what I reviewed tonight, that was just a waste of my time to review those and think about them. However, like I think that if you used AI to grow code, to grow code and to prune code, I think that maybe AI could actually be used as like a completely different software development technique. So it would not actually be writing, where it would just be doing the least effective way to write code would be to randomly generate characters with a total normal distribution and then just like throw it into the compiler. Because if you just take random letters and you just make a program that generates random letters, eventually it'll generate a program that like does some novel algorithm or something. But the thing is, you're gonna have to go through a lot of things that don't compile, and it's like 99.99999% of things just won't compile. And then a small percentage, sometimes you'll get lucky and it'll accidentally put out the characters for like int main and then return 0 if you like run it 24/7. But AI gives you basically a much faster way to probe that search space. So instead of, you could reduce that from like an infinitesimal number of guest programs to like maybe 10,000 or even like 10 million or something like that. That might be worth it for like 10 million calls to ChatGPT to make random programs. And if one of them is like a new algorithm, then it's worth it in the long run. Now, could I merge these two somehow? We're being heavily encouraged to use more AI at work. I find it works really well as a sort of smart intern, like finding problems in my code before running it, or mistakes I make during refactor. Yeah, it's I should start using this as my standard response when people ask me about AI. I would say that AI code generation is bad enough that I want to forget about it and not use it, but it's good enough that it's clear to me that I can't just dismiss it, because it's only going to get better, and it's already like most of the time it generates something stupid, and it's just like a dumb AI. It's really bad, and then every once in a while it's like, oh, that's actually a little bit clever. So if I could move that S, I have a whole bunch of, I have like a double nested for loop with this. I'm iterating over S here. Hey man, hope everything is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good tonight. continuing to make progress, slow and steady. Is this for your CLI mining game? It's been a hot minute since I've seen any of your videos. Yeah, I guess one reason for that is I haven't published a lot. I'm working on. I guess we're coming up on, so in almost 1 month now that I've been working on a new video. So it's the script is 100% done. Video filming is 100% done. The audio recording is 66% done, and the editing is about 25% done. So I'm hoping maybe the end of the week or so I can publish that. And then I find every time I publish a new video, all of the old videos start to pop up in people's feeds. I'm here to help with world domination. Excellent. Let's see, I forget. I had when I started working on this, originally I had a vision for like just do this bounds calculation once and then just pass that down instead of having to redo it like 50 times in a bunch of different places. I actually kind of forget what this does. Oh, what is the channel? The algorithm recommended me, and this seems out of context. So for the world domination, I have a video on my channel called my plans for world domination, and that has that specifically describes in detail my world domination plans. This year is I guess this is about the time when it seems like YouTube will start out the stream with like a couple viewers, and then it just like surges in a bunch of new people. So for anyone new watching, I'm about to demo the game. So it's a terminal-based video game where you can wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe. You can spam the M key to mine blocks. So there's some ore. You can press the M key to mine this iron ore. You can press the C key to craft. I guess I got no wood. All right, now I got some pickaxes. Now I can mine out to a larger radius. And so that's the basic game loop. I tend to code very spread out. So for example, I don't do too many different things in a single line. Helps step debugging. Yeah, I think that's a good heuristic. Now it's making sense. I thought you were coding an app or something. No, it's a terminal-based video game. So for the final active state, I guess I can move that. This channel's been recommended to me 3 times. That means the YouTube algorithm really thinks you like it. Didn't want to be a broke loser, so I never clicked. Oh, okay. Yeah, it pushed that one pretty hard. Just shared your 37-year-old broke loser video. Great story. Yeah, a bunch of people, I guess, according to the number of views, lots of people, in the comments, lots of people related. That make your own chip. It's a great video. Yeah, that one has like 15 million views. That's you know, realistically, that's probably one of that specific video is probably one of my life's greatest accomplishments. of anything I've ever produced. That is the most consumed. Just randomly got recommended this just now. No idea who you are, what you do, to be honest. This is a video. This is a stream where I work on my terminal block mining game. So if you skip a few minutes in the past, I just I just demoed it a few minutes ago. Susan is loving his channel right now. Not sure who Susan is, but that's good. Now that might do what I want. Susan, oh, the CEO of YouTube. Actually, Susan Wojcicki, she stepped down, and actually she died, didn't she? I think she stepped down a couple of years ago. There's a new guy now. Last year, yeah. Nope. go figure out alternative ways to invest my money now. ETH is about to hit 5,000. I'm not into crypto at all. All right, I think that's one simplification that'll work. It's almost becoming a waste of time having to wait for all these tests. The worst part is I have to make the change, and then I want to make sure it actually works before I do more simplification. Otherwise, I'll do a ton of work and waste time. Are you listening to music as you work? It's just not streaming the music. No, I just have the headphones on for audio feedback. Speaking of that, I should probably turn my turn the volume down so that I talk louder, because I think I'm too quiet. And when I go back and listen to the VODs, it sounds like I'm mumbling when I'm reading chat. All right, that is one change I'll accept. Is your YouTube revenue up since you made the How to Become a 37-Year-Old Broke Loser video? Yes, it went up a lot around December, because that video was peaking around Christmas. The revenue maxed out at around 7,000, and I think the next month was 6,000 or something. And it's been trending down ever since. And actually, last month it was up slightly, but it's still hovering. It's just below. Actually, last month was around like 1,700, so definitely quite a bit down from the peak. I had a few videos that I put quite a bit of work and time into editing, and unfortunately they didn't quite pop off and get the growth that I'd like. I really just need to put out more content. I need to put out more good content. But the problem is, to make good content, it takes a long time. But if I can put out a whole bunch of bad content. And like I've tons of videos that, I look back at them, I'm like, it's not great, and they only have like a few thousand views. And there's still a decent amount of, it's a few days worth of work to make it, and if it makes like $10, then it's not economically sustainable. Are there steps you could take to make your video creation process more efficient? I would say yes. If I had a whole bunch of money to invest, I would say one of the biggest things that makes video production faster is just having equipment, like equipment that is reliable. I think that's one of the biggest. I think people think the main purpose of like expensive equipment is the production quality, even though it does produce better production quality. But one of the biggest things is it just makes the production faster. As I remember back when some of my first videos, like I think maybe the Awk one, I just had like an old smartphone that I made that with, and it didn't have enough RAM on it to film the whole video. So I'd have to film for I could film like 5 minutes of video at a time. So I'd film for 5 minutes and, say all my lines, and then it would run into memory, and I'd have to upload copy the file over, delete the video, and then record the rest of it, and do that a couple times. And with crappier equipment, you also get you lose all your work more. I found especially early on with recording with my smartphones, I don't know how many times I recorded with the phone, and I made absolutely sure it was recording, and then I'd go and say my lines, and I'd go and look at the phone, and it's not recording, and whatever I recorded didn't record. And I think a couple of times I saw it would be recording, and then it would just say internal error or something. There'd be some error message that would pop up, and I just lose the video. So stuff like that. And then even just simple things like having a faster SD card reader makes a difference. It takes your copying your video file from 10 minutes to 5 minutes. Having a fast computer to render the proxies when you actually do the video editing. Actually, when my fan was failing on my computer and I didn't have the replacement, my computer would overheat, and I'd have to put it in this a low power mode, and that made video editing so much more difficult. Can I suggest a model you might find useful? Some people stream for hours, and then they get an editor who takes a % cut to basically review the live streams, chop it up. Yeah, I had that idea had crossed my mind. I'd even thought maybe I should even make some of my own a bit. Once I get the next video out, I would actually do that with my own stuff, but I don't even have enough time to do that editing. I guess I could get, if I found someone who's kind of reliable, who could do that kind of thing, maybe it could work out. I do have a backlog of streams, so there'd be something there to draw on. You could probably also use AI to go through the scripts too, because it's automatically transcribed and stuff. Or maybe you could use AI to automatically make clips. Notice people use CapCut, etc. I'm not familiar with CapCut. I'll have to look it up as long as I don't forget. What are you actually doing? I guess I probably run the game right now. I'm currently working on developing a terminal-based video game. Don't know if you know all the pirate software drama, but the guy legitimately built a huge following doing coding tips, shorts. Yeah, I saw he had that viral clip. A lot of people mentioned it to me about how he said he changed the flag of like, show this to your subscribers, and that was this growth hack. I tried that on one of mine, and it didn't make a substantial difference. I was kind of suspicious of that too, because I kind of feel like anything you do to game the system is probably not, it's not gonna work out super well. I'm already over 100,000, so I figured that like there's enough data there for the YouTube algorithm to like if the channel content is good enough, it'll probably push it. There's lots of people that do like growth hacks, but sometimes they can backfire on you. But yeah, someone asked about what I'm doing, so I'm working on building this terminal-based video game where it runs purely in the Linux terminal, and you can simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. It's more about capitalizing on the content you already creating by YT Shorts. Yeah, that is noted, and it's one of the things. I guess like if I get desperate, I could just put out a bunch of clips of some of these previous live streams. But then again, it's always a cost-benefit analysis. Like ideally people want to watch good quality content, so I want to make that to keep people coming back. That's the stuff that's going to endure, like the how to make a CPU video. Like I question like what's going to be better in the long term. Is it going to be like 500 low quality advice tips shorts, or is it going to be the how to make a CPU video? I think in the long term, the kind of the high impact content is going to do better. But the problem is not everything not everything that I think is high quality actually pops off. Could have multiple channels for a variety of quality. I could. I've actually decided I'll probably just put everything on the same channel. Because it's more about the main constraint is just about putting out about actually producing the content, whether it's high or low quality. Because even low quality, with a lower quality, I have to put out more of it. Like one low quality video takes less time, but because it's lower quality, I have to put out more of it, so then it takes more time. Single videos are high impact, but you need to spread to get people hooked. The how to make a CPU one was that one I think did have pretty good spread. It went viral. It went viral on. It went viral like off of YouTube. It went viral in Japan and China initially, and then someone like actually stole it and then reposted it on Twitter. It got millions of views. All right, let's work. Yeah, so someone asked about demo, or about what I'm working on, and that's that. The demo of what I'm working on. Now, can I combine those? World class, y'all. World class. Thanks. Step aside. that a song lyric? Just JK? I don't get it. I have a hunch that that's not needed. So it seems like it's overwritten down here. The joke is, bro coming in last night saying world class and all that. I thought it was funny. Was there someone who came in to the chat last night and said world class? I don't remember. My memory's getting bad for stuff that happens in the chat because there's so many hours. Yeah, I guess we're on day 132, so that's almost 400 hours of content to remember. All right, that works. Let's test. Excellent. Yeah, so small optimizations like that, that's what I want an AI to find. And just tell me, like, delete this line. And then the program is one line simpler. Yoshikaga Kira says hello. How's it going? What is all that going across the screen? These are the unit tests that are creating like random like example screen layers and then merging them together. So I'm trying to incrementally simplify and improve my the function I'm doing for merging together the layers, which is currently the slowest part of the game. Right now I'm just working on making it less complicated, and then once it's less complicated, I can, well, either in the process of simplifying it, it'll make it faster. But once it is simpler, then I can probably, I think there's a few changes to bounds calculations and stuff, and I can add, maybe even add other features that just turn certain things off, because the whole function is doing way more work than it has to. New Veritasium is really good. I think I saw that. Was that the one about rubber? I saw the thumbnail, I didn't click on it. That thing was chugging. Must have a beast system. No, actually, this is an old, like an old spare laptop. I mean, the Monsanto one, the rubber one, was also good. I'll have to watch the Monsanto one. Yeah, I know they're doing a lot of funky stuff with genetically modified corn and all that. That's what I know about them, and they have that specific pesticide they sell to farmers. How old? You rocking some retro rig? It's I'm not sure. It's probably at least like 10 years old or so. Actually, maybe I will make that change. So this will maybe let me separate. I can like pre-calculate that. It's not right. I guess my change was wrong somewhere. What are you running on Ubuntu to make that, or is it all terminal? This here is just GNOME terminal. The game itself is all just terminal. Renewed my gifted subscription. Does YT take a percentage of that $4 a month? Yes, I think it's the same as for super chats. I think it's like 30% or something. But I kind of treat it as it's a sacrifice to the algorithm gods, so that it will, I assume and hope that, you know, somewhere in YouTube's algorithm, like YouTube exists to make money. So if they get a cut of it, then their algorithm is probably going to direct more viewers here. Never seen that before. What do you mean specifically? Like, do you mean what I'm doing right now, or like the game itself? Running a game through the terminal. Yeah, there isn't really a lot of there's not a lot of prior art. There are like Gmuds and stuff. Most of them are like text based. I think historically there hasn't really been support for emoji characters that do much, but I think actually that opens up a new potential genre. Is terminal based games where the graphics are all represented as emoji characters. Was thinking YT is taking the cut. Couldn't decide if I should support you here on Patreon. I'd say whatever's easiest. In like my experience, like in terms of just generating revenue and stuff. I think a really big reservation to like getting sales is like I have my own merch store, and I get basically like zero sales there. And I think it's off the beat. I don't really bring it up that much, but I think even with the small amount of traffic it gets, there's a much higher barrier to entry if the platform is like unfamiliar. And like I think if you're on YouTube.com, people are way more trusting of just giving away their payment information, so the extra increase in like conversion rate is higher. And it's kind of like once you get into the ecosystem, once you give it your credit card number, you can remember it, so it can make it way more frictionless. I'm surprised that this does not work. tried to scroll your code. But it's just a video. I tricked you. And let's try this again. Podcaster Blind Boy. Every episode says Apple takes a cut from Patreon subs. If you sign up with the app, it says use the browser instead. True. Yes, I have seen Patreon sent me a whole bunch of like. I don't get many emails from Patreon, but they did say like Apple has some super predatory thing, and they were like. I didn't read into the details on it, but I, from what I understand, Apple is extremely aggressive at taking. I think it's like a 30% cut of like everything that you do. Like if you buy anything through any app on Apple, and I think they also have like. I don't know if they still have this, but at one time they had terms that say like you cannot even tell your customers that they do this. Yeah, super. I think they were also involved in some like antitrust lawsuits and stuff because it's kind of crazy. Like, imagine any other kind of like device or venue, or it's like if you set up a store in a mall or something, if the mall says they get a 30% cut of all revenue, now that is not expected, the fact that that did not work. Oh, maybe it's this. Yeah, I don't really I don't use Apple products much, and I don't really I've never really thought much about. I assume probably most people who use Patreon don't use it through like an app on specifically an Apple product, so it's not really something I've thought a lot about. I assume, I guess, I don't know. I think the percentage breakdown is quite small. That kind of breaks my mind. Why would this change? Make this stop working. Oh, maybe I need this. that helps me split up the origin of where that flag is coming from. I do remember all the code. I've done many projects, but I only remember a small portion of the code. Must be coding all the time. For this project, I would say I really don't. Working on the project every day and being like having my mind refreshed on it, and I guess just like just coming back to it and spending like an absurdly long amount of time staring at the same piece of code and thinking about it and thinking like, how do I simplify this? Eventually it just becomes, if you focused your mind on a small enough thing for a long enough amount of time, you become really familiar with it. And honestly, like what I'm doing right now, I'm kind of just trying to do like small tautological changes where like I basically don't even understand what's happening. This is kind of the result of just trying to speed run toward like do whatever I can to get the test cases to pass, which made the code quality horrible and hard to understand. But now that I have the test cases, I'm just like incrementally trying to remove, like for example, I have these 2 for loops here. I'm thinking about how do I make that. I don't think this has to be 2 for loops. I think I might be able to like move this. I think there's a way to move that, for example, up to where it's pre-calculated here. And then like there's all kinds of just simple things where I don't need to understand the code. I'm just, so for example, I have a flag. I have a flag that I carry through that's like whether it's supposed to track whether the character is changed or not. So I have like the trusted flag. So if there's at least one character, if there's at least one solid character visible, set the change flag. With the change flag, then set it. But then also, if there's a colors flag, with the change flag, set that. And these before these were two separate things. So then later, what I can do is basically just like I can split them out into what they're responsible for. And now I have 2 flags. And I can just say like, because I was just ORing them before, now I can calculate them separately and then OR them at the end. And then that just helps me disentangle like what's responsible for what. So then I think later I can like pre-calculate some of those. And I have this complicated thing here with a character in one column will affect the flag of the column next to it. And if I can better track the responsibility, then I can probably simplify this even more. How much have you raised till now? It's probably I'd have to double check. It's maybe like 2,500 or so. So a decent amount. So I'd like to move that up here. just stopped in because I watched a video by 32-year-old unemployed character modeler. It reminded me of 37-year-old broke loser video. Very similar vibe. Yeah, it seems like that's a whole new genre now. Everybody's a broke loser. At the end of the video, she mentioned she was working on a crappy game. So I got coding. I thought, hey, I know guys that might be able to help then. Yeah, I'm also working on a crappy game too. But hopefully, if I can get it to be faster. Would you be interested in getting your channel name? You can mention the channel name here if you want. I'm not. I'll try to remember to check it out if I remember. I don't want to promise because a lot of people mention things in chat and then I say, oh, I'll check that out, and then I never do. You know what that is? If you're both in a similar situation, if complementary skill sets might be worth mentioning. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that actually in my recommendations. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, my expertise is not unique. There's a billion people. I'm sure there's a lot of people volunteering to help her in her endeavors. With all that typing, it sounds like a recipe for day 132 of RSI. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've been coding every day. I don't code for that long, so. Actually, this is an anti-ergonomic keyboard. It's actually kind of uncomfortable to stream and code. It's actually, I'm coding on like a crappy old laptop. Laptop keyboard. It's mainly just out of necessity. If I had tons of money, I'd buy lots of equipment. But right now I'm making do with what's in this. What I got. It's also like you don't really see all the equipment that's required. So many like this whole room is like I got the camera there and the tripod, and I got tons of wires all over the floor, and there's a second monitor here, and then I got this computer, and there's actually my main computer is behind it, and then I got blankets all over, and then there's the preamp over there, and all XLR cables and microphone stand, or this here mic, pop filters. spend the money out of necessity. Once the pain starts, kind of have to pay for those split keyboards. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had. I do have some. I find the big thing is just like take breaks. So I only write like a few hours worth of code. But there's been times when I've been trying to push to get stuff done, and I'm working like writing code, literally writing and typing like 10 hours a day, and that does get to the point where it's compromising my ability to work. Let's see what this does. Which economic institution will you be taking over in order to further your ease towards world domination? I think the main thing is just lots of careful investing. Once I get the funding, then I can start building up some private equity firms, and we'll just do some financialization. We'll restructure some assets, declare bankruptcy. And that's where the main funds will come from. And then we can just buy things. And if people owe us money, we'll go to the court and we'll get a writ of possession. Take breaks every couple hours if you can. Spend time strengthening your wrist. It's non-repetitive exercise. Yeah, if I had to, if I actually did longer sessions like this, I'd have to think of a better, more sustainable setup. But fortunately, I think 2.5 hours a day is pretty, is pretty decent. No, I have a regression. This thing is a very, very nasty. My function is so complicated that it's just hard to reduce the complexity of it. think there's some issue with this. Oh, actually, that might be the problem. Yeah, that might be the problem. Do you know there are augmented reality devices that are planned to be used to mitigate symptoms of anxiety, pain, and even depression? And are already in development. I would imagine there's, I guess it's not surprising that someone is trying to build a commercial product like that. But the question is, does it actually work and decrease depression? Or is it just like some venture capital firm decided to make this thing and now they're going to charge the government money and force nursing homes to buy it? But then the people who in the nursing home don't like it and it makes them sad. Made by Harvard and Stanford. Stanford is notorious for working for with those venture capitalists. It's probably not fake, but I guess it I guess how does it work? Augmented reality. I would say like in my view, an augmented reality device, like playing video games with friends and family, that is that will definitely reduce anxiety and depression. And augmented reality is one way of interfacing with a game. So in that respect, I can believe that for sure. But are these just like augmented reality where you imagine you're in like a garden or something? Your chat is teeming with life. Excellent. That's good. All right, that simplification, I guess if you can, I guess it is a simplification. That simplification works. I'll do whatever it takes to make this guy have a laugh. Never seen him have a single laugh ever on his streams. I think I've laughed a few times. Kind of like non-invasive man-machine interface for people with locked-in syndrome. Okay. Yeah, I imagine that would be that'd be pretty fun if you're just sitting there vegetative all day. That'd be a pretty welcome change to be able to interact with something. Sadly, already exists. Experimental, but proven to work. Yeah, we are progressing towards the singularity, where eventually we can all just live in a metaverse all the time. Wait, did I test that? Let me compile that again just to be sure. All right, that works. Now let's run the tests. I wish it were in our lifetime, born just a little too soon. Yeah, a lot of this technology it's cool. Although the recent development though that really concerns me is like just very unethical, like business and unethical business or even military applications of a lot of the technology we have. like in some ways the technological advancements we have, they're coming too soon. Like, it would be great if we just have world peace and then invent all this fantastic technology and have fun with it. But it kind of seems like the problems we have are getting worse, and then we're inventing all this fantastic technology at the wrong time. It'll get misused. Just like we have with private equity firms, like that antitrust case, the price fixing case, where they were using like sophisticated algorithms to price housing, to basically bid up rental pricing. We have a really bad focusing problem as a species. Even if you gave everyone the world, they wouldn't know how to use it, or to care enough to use it. Only 1% of the population can read and write still. Wow, is that true? Only 1%? They say it's 80%. There's no way. I would have to assume it's more than 1% of the world population can write. If that works, and that's one more of those loops eliminated. And I could probably eliminate this one too. Okay, let's see if that works. There's no way it's 90%. Yeah, I would assume it's less than 90, but more than 1%. It's a big range. And Anil Pretty says, "Sup, bro? Not too much. How's it going?" You adding conditions to a statistic makes a different statistic? Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're talking about the percentage of people who can read. I assume it's got to be greater than 1%. All right, I got a bug somewhere. That should work. Really, that's change for any reason. You're not wrong, but you see what I'm saying, bro? Kind of. I don't know. I've been on the other side of the world, in rural villages where people still draw water from wells with hand cranks. Those people could read and write. But they read and write more than city folk. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what point you were trying to convey with those statistics, but I forgot how we got onto that topic. Excellent. My change works. City folk are distracted, not focused. Maybe, but then again, most of the the programming and service work is also done in the city. Talking about how we as a species need to learn to focus. Yeah, that is that would be pretty cool if we could just focus everyone. Everyone would just agree that we could do this or that thing that is constructive instead of having wars. I think you'd have a better argument if you took the line that people can read and write and have internet access in the palm of their hand, but fail to utilize it. Yeah, I think actually internet access has gone, now that everyone has mobile phones, internet access is way more prolific now. I haven't looked at the stats, but it must be like at least 80% of the population now of the world, like even impoverished people, have access to internet. Okay, that is kind of succeeded. This is now a little bit simpler. Still pretty gnarly though. Because tomorrow I can move that one as well. still need to figure out a good way to make this faster, because this is where a lot of the time gets wasted. Robert is the epitome of Java programmers. He knows Java since it was a sun thing, and then became Oracle. I haven't known it that long. Well, it's already past what I usually call it a night. I think I'll probably leave it there for tonight. This has slightly simplified this thing. The code is simpler. It's not necessarily faster yet. But as it gets simpler, then it's a bit easier to reason about how to make it faster. All right, talk to you later, guys. We'll be back for day 133.